Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out XLM's price chart, and I'm going to tell you why overall in this area I'm seeing some optimistic signs. However, this doesn't mean that in the short term we are not allowed to once more at least set a lower low. So first things first, let's talk about the overall structure, and maybe it's best to go on H4 and put the chart on logarithmic. So here is what is going on in XLM. You can consider in these areas starting from this point about, let's say, 20 cents, two different counts. Scenario number one, which is the bearish count, suggests this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into an A leg correction for wave B, and we had to about the highest high around, let's say, 52.5 cents. Yet another 5 wave on the upside with all the subwaves. This was actually the topic of the previous video into our C leg. Now, is this going to be my primary scenario? I really don't think so. And that brings me to the second possibility, which indicates number one, the low, the final one in XLM is most likely in here about 20 cents. And also we are looking very, very optimistic and bullish. Why? Because according to this count, this can be a wave 1 on a higher degree, followed by a correction for wave 2, a strong move up into wave 3, correction for 4, and what are we going to have next? Hopefully, yet another move on the upside into wave 5. So this is why in XLM, I am right now a lot more bullish than bearish. Again, there is no certainty in any market at any given moment. We are talking about what is possible and we are considering the possibilities. And here's the thing, based on possibilities, I think in a stellar lumens chart, we are looking very much optimistic. Now, here's a very important point. If this count is happening, then it means maybe right now in XLM, we are having a correction structure into wave 4. And this brings me to the good sign that I see. Question: what is one very important characteristic of overall, let's say, any kind of correction structure? You know the answer in case that you are a regular viewer. It's being very much slow and choppy and having constantly overlapping of the waves. Now, what is going on in this phase down starting from the highest high? Maybe it's best to go on like 30-minute time frame. Okay, here is why I think this is a slow and choppy move down so far. As you can see, reason number one, we are now having clearly overlapping of the waves between our pullbacks up, and also this is important, pay attention. Let's measure this move down timing wise and see how long is it taking for us to have this move so far. As you can see, about 730 candlesticks on 30-minute time frame. On the other hand, in only about 550 candlesticks in a lot less time, almost 40%, we managed to have in XLM this strong move up starting from here about 22 to all the way up here about 55 cents. So why is this important? Because in my view, this suggests despite having way more than enough time in this phase down, in the recent phase, it seems like bears are absolutely failing to pull the price all the way back down to these levels, meaning this is actually a correction structure and bulls probably still have quite a bit of power. And after this is over, you are probably going to see another move up, which will hopefully confirm this count suggesting this is wave 3, correction for 4, another move up into wave 5, which means the bottom is in and we are overall in the mid to long term, meaning let's say in the next 6 months to about a year or two, looking extremely optimistic. Now, having said all that, this doesn't mean that in the short term, we are not allowed to have yet another move down. Why do I say that? And why do I think we should probably prepare actually for a move on the downside? That comes down to what is going on in terms of Elliott Waves. You see, if you want to say that we're going to have the low of our correction right in here, one very important requirement for that is for you to be able to find off of the lowest low in this region, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here's a very important role in any kind of 5 wave. Wave 3 is simply not allowed to be the smallest wave. Okay, this is a big no in Elliott Waves. And having said that, let's put the chart on regular first and then zoom in more and see what is happening from the lowest low. And are you going to say this is 1, this is 2, wave 3, correction for 4, another move up into wave 5, and I'm guessing this can be the end of our wave 3. And in here we are allowed to consider, I don't know, let's say like an ABC in form of an expanded flat. Well, first things first, we said it earlier, wave 3 is absolutely not allowed to be the smallest wave. So let's measure it from this point to about here and then compare it to the other waves. Is it smaller than our supposedly wave 1? As you can see, by a decent margin, the answer is yes. Is it also smaller than wave 5? The answer is unfortunately also yes. Meaning, Discount, which is in my view pretty much our best shot at finding an impulse off of the lowest low, is actually not allowed. And that leads us to say, you know what, in XLM, maybe this whole move is a correction structure, and sure, maybe we are going to get from here another move up, but overall, please count on another move down in order to take this low down here about 40 cents area. So let's have a quick conclusion. In XLM, I do think in like very short term, let's say for like the next 48 to 72 hours, a move on the downside is absolutely possible. However, this doesn't mean that we are going to be like 100% bearish. No, in fact, overall and on some higher degrees, I do still believe this is a correction structure, and we just talked about the evidence. This is a slow and choppy move down, and I'm really hoping after this is over, we get yet another move up. For now, this is going to be my primary case as long as I'm not proven otherwise. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in a stellar lumens chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.